Hello, everyone. Welcome into a little special treat as Kent was brave enough to request Coach Croft's time. And Coach Peyton Croft is going to join us here for a little pregame interview on their last home game of the season in advance of a good one. Got a matchup between Mayfield and Murray tonight in the Carter Dome. Coach, thanks for coming on with us.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here and glad to be back in the gym.
Well, you guys have had a lot of very close competitive games. We were kind of talking about it right before we came on, and I'm going to hit you right in the ribs to start. The free throw shooting has been a challenge for you guys as of late, and it's one of those things like, in practice you can only shoot so many and just keep shooting them. So, what are your, methods to try to work around the free throw troubles to try to win these close battles?
Yeah, I was actually telling somebody the other day, Shaquille O'Neal practiced free throws his whole career.
Still couldn't make them.
He hired a lot of people and still couldn't make them. So, I think I'll say the practice of it, I hate to use the word, it's overrated. I definitely believe you have to practice them, and I believe you have to practice them at times where you're tired, winded, to simulate games. You have to put some pressure on the line and different, situations and instances. But, we've definitely done all of that and above. And, our kids have shot plenty, hundreds. And, at this point, it's a mental thing of just having the confidence to go up and put the ball in the rim and know that you're going to knock them down when you get there. So, like I said, I've kind of left it alone at this point, just because there's not a lot else you can say or do to make that ball go through the rim. But at this point, our guys know I got confidence in them to knock them down, and they've got to have the same.
One of the, we'll say, changes you made, part of the way into the season, I think has paid off drastically for you guys, was the change at the point guard position. You moved Kennemore over from a point guard over to the to the shooting guard position, and bring in a freshman point guard, and he has done nothing but get better and better in a hurry, and made you look like a genius.
Well, that's I say a lot. Coaches get way too much credit for wins, and they get beat up way too much for losses. And so, bottom line is, when you've got good players make coaches look good. So, Brajon is going to be, and he already is, but he's going to be a very special player. He's going to have a special career. And for us, not getting that spring and summer, to be in the gym and getting that 15 to 20 games in the summer to be able to play and so-called get thrown to the fire as a freshman, it actually kind of put things off a little bit as far as him being able to step in and start in that position.
Sure.
And I didn't want to do that to him in a season. I wanted him to get as many freshmen and JV reps in as he could get just until he got comfortable. And, he had a couple of really good JV games, and I just got to the point in the season where I said, okay, now's the time, let's go. And, I can commend him and I can commend Owen Webb, both freshmen. They're in the gym every morning before school. They hadn't missed a morning in it's been months. It's every single morning they're in here, and it's not like they're in there shooting. They're in here drenched, soaking wet, playing one-on-one, and on the shooting machine. And so, as we say, iron sharpens iron, and those two kids are two good ones to have, and they understand what it really means to work for it and earn it.
Is that something that you want them to do, or is that something that they're just doing on their own, having you come and open up the gym for them?
So my guys know that no matter when, where, why, what time you want in the gym's going to get open. And they know that, but here's also the understanding is I'm not going to tell you have to be in here because I don't want it more than you want it for yourself.
That's a different work ethic when you're wanting them in here versus when they want to be in
100%. And I won't say the work ethic's different. I think even whenever I want them to be in here and they might not be feeling it that day or they still work hard. But I just think mentally, when you're trying to get better as a player, it's important for you to want that as opposed to somebody else wanting it for you. We all in life want things for different people that we're like, golly, if they would just do this or do that, they got to want it for themselves. And so, those two kids, they want it, and they're in here working and, tired, sore. It don't matter if it's right after, day after a game. We had a long road trip and we've come home late. They're in here the next morning, wringing wet, getting after it. So he's definitely done a really good job for us and been a huge spark at the varsity level. And as I say, knock on wood, I'll knock on my head. Freshmen have a lot of ups, they have a lot of downs, okay? And sophomores do. We say we got sophomore slumps. You see a kid play great 2 games, and then their next 2 games, good pass, Braden, where they just don't, perform at the same level. And so, it's just that's young kids, and we've got a lot of them that are inexperienced right now, and so it's kind of making it hard on me with sub rotations and patterns because you're not sure who's about to bring it that next game,
right.
Just because of youth and inexperience. But guys are really working hard, so he's done a great job.
I noticed that this is your last scheduled game. Do you, or that's what's on KHSAA? Do you have anything for next week?
No, there's nothing next week.
So 8 days off.
Yep, essentially, yeah. The thing for us is I can't just take a chance. I mean, some teams may, but even the more I'm looking at it, I was on Twitter today, and Madisonville's canceled the rest of their games, and Hopkinsville and Christian County just canceled their second game and going with the first one. And teams are starting to kind of figure it out. All it takes is for you to play against one kid that has a positive test, and now your team's quarantined. So with that 10-day window, and where we're at right now is, if that were to happen tonight, we would have to be 5 days out, and then our whole team would have to go get the PCR.
So we can make a positive out of the 2 seed because you're 8 days off versus 10 without playing.
Absolutely. Hey. We planned for that. Let me tell you.
a little less rust is what that is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That actually helps me a little bit. I can maybe
you can play before you go in.
There's somebody out there that would believe that if I told them that. So, but no, that was definitely not the plan. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose behind it. Obviously, we would not like that many days off, but we didn't have any games scheduled before they moved the district tournament even earlier because we wanted to have 10 days within a quarantine. But with them bumping it to Saturday now, you're going to have to, if heaven forbid, if something came up, you'd have to go to that 5-day ordeal. And like I said, we hope, that's not ever going to be the case between last night's game and tonight's game. But in what we've dealt with all year long, you kind of have to prepare for those things. And that's been the struggle for the most part, is thinking and trying to plan for stuff that you're not used to having to think about and plan for.
Now, what will happen? What will happen in the district tournament if, let's say, something did happen and Mayfield come down with COVID and they're out for the region? If you beat Ballard on that Saturday night, will Ballard be able to go into that role?
So I know in football, once it got to a certain round, the loser had the opportunity to move on. So if I'm taking your question right, if something happened after our Ballard Mayfield game, then I would assume that whoever lost that game between us and Ballard would get that opportunity to go to the region. I'm assuming that. I have not been told that, but going off of how football did theirs once they got to a certain round in the playoffs.
Would that change the seeding then for you if you lost in the championship? Would you be able to go in as a 1 seed on the draw if that champion was to quarantine?
That's a great question too.
Kids getting the shovel big and finding the good questions.
Yeah, I don't think my pay grade may not be that high.
Do we need to get Joe up here?
Yeah, so I need to get Coach Morris up here. But no, me personally, I think if those 2 teams played first, and you had a winner and a loser and they'd already played, then that team may get the opportunity to go in as the 1 and the other as the 2. I don't honestly have no idea about that. I'm gonna say this. I hope that we never have to cross that bridge or even think about it.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd like to approach it.
That's the way that I would like to see it happen, and not for us, but for all of these kids within our region to continue to give them the opportunity to play.
Region's wide open. We saw that last night, especially. Graves going down at Fulton County. Murray goes and beats Lyon County. They come in and beat McCracken by 20. I don't think that the Region 1 has that dominant team this year. And when I say Tier 1, Tier 2, you probably go off of records to get that Tier 1 and not dominance. And there's probably only 2 or 3 points difference in Tier 1 and Tier 2. And so it would not surprise me to see a team in Mayfield. I think you're sitting at 9-6 right now. Go over and win the regional tournament. Yeah. If just getting hot at the right time this year is going to matter.
You're exactly right. You said it. Who's healthy? Being hot at the right time, knocking down shots. For us, it's going to come down to, can we play a complete 32-minute game? And we honestly, as far as playing at a high level, we've yet to do that. We've put a 3-quarter game together, or we've played a really good 3.5 quarters, but it was 2 minutes in the second quarter and the last 2 minutes of the third quarter that we just had, letdowns for 4 or 6 points. And man, when you're trying to beat really good basketball teams late in the year, especially in the postseason, you've got to put a 32-minute game together. And that's been the definite message, and that's something that you look to see. As I told somebody, I was pretty upset last night with our, with the so-called, not the outcome necessarily, but how we won. And somebody said, well, you won the game, and my response to that was I'm not really worried about the wins and the losses as much as I am how we played. If we're playing hard and we're giving everything we got for 32 and we come up short, as long as I'm getting the absolute most out of every single kid on the court, like that's my number one goal. Trying to maximize potential and talent to the best of our ability. And so, we look to continue to do that every day through practice and games. And, like I said, it's the last regular season game, so we're starting to wind it down.
What's your biggest surprise this season in your kids? I know you have a lot of expectations for your kids.
Sure.
Who is the one person that has risen above the expectations this year and surprised you as a coach? Not necessarily carried your team or anything like that.
Sure. I will say Sam Stone. And we talked a lot about Brajan. Brajan's done a lot for our team, within the last, 8 to 10 games, whatever that is. When he got that first initial start, man, he's been on fire ever since, playing his butt off. And so, and not just on the offensive end, I'm going to say that.
Especially defensively.
Yeah,
I've been more impressed with his defensive side.
100%. And that's what I try to relay to kids is, man, people see your effort on that defensive end of the floor. They don't necessarily see your effort yet. Points go in the newspaper, but I always tell my kids, you got to have that offensive lineman mentality as a basketball player. Like, don't worry about whose yards or receptions get put in there or you need to make sure that all of that stuff gets to happen because of the job that you did up front to get it all and make it all happen, and that's the mentality that I'd like to see our kids have, night in and night out. But Sam, getting back to that, man, he's done a great job for us inside. He's learning how to use his physicality and his body. A year ago, he came to us in basketball and just was not in basketball shape. And it was a struggle getting him into basketball shape. I think he could have helped us a year ago.
Right.
But we couldn't get him all the way there. And I've seen a huge, drastic, change in him over the last 4 weeks, I guess you could say, 4 or 5 weeks maybe. And he's just getting to where now he can get up and down the floor, and he's surprising himself a little bit too, I think.
Gaining a lot of confidence.
100%. And as I tell kids too, you just mentioned a good word, and I'll hit on this and I'll let you guys talk again, but confidence, I hear a lot of people, not just about talking with our kids, but you hear a lot of parents maybe at other schools or just talk about, well, my son just don't have confidence, or somebody's taking his confidence from him. And here's what I say. I've never welded a day in my life. So if somebody came and you asked me, hey, could you come help me weld this on my truck or whatever it might be, I would have zero confidence in the job I'm about to do. But if you put me in a welding class for 2 months and I go in there and I work at it and I learn how to weld and I know how to do a good job at it, and then you ask me to come do it, I'm going to have confidence because I put that work in prior.
Right.
So your confidence is going to come from the work that you put in the gym on that. If you haven't been practicing left-hand layups, you're not going to be confident shooting a left-hand layup in front of 1,500 people.
Right.
So with Sam, it's kind of one of them things our kids know it's very, very, very freed up offensively. I've given a green light to a lot of kids that probably don't need a green light.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw Sam step out and shoot threes. I'll just be honest with you.
Hey, Graves County game, Sam Stone opens up first play of the game. We shoot a 3 with Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, when I'm coaching you, you have that opportunity, and I'm trying to give you that opportunity. So when the word confidence comes up, I'm like, guys, you can't play for anybody else that's going to tell you, please go make plays.
Yeah.
Go. Have fun doing what you. Now, the defensive end of the floor, I say is my end of the floor.
Yeah.
I'm going to dictate what goes on defensively because that comes down to more schemes and me scouting and personnel. And that's where I honestly get a little more frustrated than anything because when I see guys not follow through with something maybe we just talked about in the locker room before we came out or have gone over in practice or today at our shoot-around, that's the end that I really get upset about. But Sam, man, he's finished inside. He's getting up and down the floor. He's rebounding the ball, and he's really using his body well. So, like I said, very, very, very proud of him and his progression.
Well, last question, Coach, and we're going to get you out, so you got time to prep for the game coming up. Mm-hmm. And it's about the game tonight. You've got a tough matchup in Murray and a team that's very efficient on the offensive end. They got a lot of kids that can make shots, and of course, the go-to conversation is Grant Whitaker, who's averaging 20 points a game as a sophomore. What are you looking to do? Like you talked about defensive scheming to try to, limit the good quality shots that Murray can get tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta respect them and the job that they're doing this year as a basketball team and as a coaching staff. They're very, the word you used, efficient. those guys they have great shooters, and they're going to really spread you out in a 4-out, 1-in look. They're going to run a ton of high ball screen action. They love to be able to throw in the horn set to the elbow and play pick and roll out of their bigs, and they love to be able to cross screen into a high ball screen for Grant and Kwani and those guys. And then you zone them, and then they want to run their ear action where they come up and set that ball screen out of the zone for Kwani, and they space out Grant and those guys for shots. And so you've really got to be able to do all the things and defend guard stuff, whether it's dribble handoffs or ball screens, and that's going to be a huge key for us tonight. I think being able to get the ball inside tonight is a really big thing for us, just because we are much bigger than they are, and at the same time, we've got to do a great job of boxing their guards out, because a lot of teams you don't see great rebounding guards, but something that a lot of people don't talk about Grant Whitaker about is his ability to rebound the ball, and so you've got to make sure you're getting him off the glass. And to say that our teams at this time of year have been scouted and prepped for is kind of an understatement. We know quite a bit about teams. It's just it comes down to being able to get the stops that you need, take care of the basketball, get the ball where you need to get it, execute, do all those little things we've been preaching about for, it feels like now going on about 8 months, as long as this season has felt with COVID. But it's a big basketball game, and they're very good. They were preseason, I think, in some preseason polls, #1 in the region even, and some stuff. So they're very, very good, and it's a great game for us. I'm glad it's at the time it is, because it's a game that we can learn a lot from with a week of preparation leading into the district, and that's what we want. We want that opportunity in that film, and want to be able to maximize the time that we have in that week before leading up into the district tournament.
One of the things I've noticed about Murray, and I'm going to bring it up to Coach Dior here in a minute when we talk to him, is they're struggling to close out games. So you just want to be right there with them. I mean, and see, because I think maybe the last 2 games they played in a row with the Clinton County and the Marshall County, they've had leads. They was up by double digits at halftime, and they've struggled to close games out. So you just got to play well enough to be with them
100%
by the end of the game.
100%. You always say,
free throws too.
Yeah, well, and that's part of. If you look at it, that's part of closing out games. As we said, even in the Callaway game, you talk about, it's kind of where we've really started noticing it more so than anything. As when you finish games, you need to finish games by going inside and at the free throw line, and we've done that. We've got the ball where we wanted to get it out of our sets. We've just got to be able to finish, and we got to be able to knock down free throws. So. In the end, I say it a lot, man. We're coaching kids, and you just got to continue having faith and confidence in them, and pushing them every day to try to get their best. And in the end, when that light bulb clicks, that's what makes coaching a beautiful thing, because you see some kids start doing some things they couldn't do before. And we've got some really good young kids I'm sitting here watching now that when that does click, they're going to have a lot of fun playing the game.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming on with us. We'll let you get back and prep work for the game.
Thank
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
That was Coach Peyton Croft taking some time out of his busy evening to sit down with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to have Coach Dior Curtis of the Murray Tigers short to follow right back after this. everyone. Welcome back inside the Cardinal Dome for the second half of our special pre-game interviews. We've got Coach Dior Curtis of the Murray Tigers on. Coach, thanks for coming on with us.
Oh, yeah, glad to be on with you guys.
Well, this is unusual. Usually we've done more games. We've seen almost everybody in the region, but we saved you guys for our last game of the season to see you for the first time.
Yeah.
So, talk to us about how the season has gone so far. I know you're coming off a very, very tough 2-point loss to Marshall County, but you guys have overall, I think, had a very good season. To talk about how the season has gone and the growth of your team over the course of it.
Yeah, this season's been crazy with COVID and quarantines and weather here as of lately.
Yeah.
But we're glad to have the opportunity to be back playing, and we've been trying to just get better progressively. We had 2 tough district games on last Monday and Tuesday, and so we want to make sure we're getting better for the end of the season. Right now, district play is coming up. This is our last regular season game as we know it right now, so we know this game is going to be a tough game for us tonight, but we want to come out and try to play well.
I'm pretty confident in that those games were scheduled after something had happened, because there's no way you would have scheduled Callaway Marshall back-to-back nights, right?
Yeah, no, they,
And Mayfield in the same week.
Yeah. The All-A, the movement of the All-A really put us at a disadvantage as far as our district games, and Callaway worked it out with us that we can move our district games from Friday before you're supposed to go to Clinton County and play in the All-A to the following week. So it ended up being back-to-back district games, which usually on a regular year you won't ever do that.
Right.
So circumstances caused us to do it, and we won the first one and came up short in the second one. But a lot of it, I think, was fatigue. We had played over 2 overtime games, Clinton County and Callaway as well, and then had to go to Marshall County, and it was a tough one for us.
Well, you had trouble closing out Clinton County. You had trouble closing out Marshall County, but you closed out Callaway. What was the difference in those games?
Yeah, we made some shots down the stretch when we needed to, some big plays. It's tough to get stops, down the stretch, and Callaway, not Callaway, but Marshall and Clinton County, they hit some huge threes from their post guys on us in those games that kind of helped them stay a little bit closer. We were up 3 on Marshall, and the Raleigh kid hit a 3, and then we're up 3 on Clinton County as well, and that big guy who had 21 on us, he ended up hitting a 3 as well. So, big shots down the stretch, got to be able to get stops when it's time to get stops, and in those games we didn't, so unfortunate for us.
I wish we wasn't sitting here talking to you right now, because if you'd have beat Clinton County, this game wouldn't have took place.
Yeah, that's right.
You would be in the finals.
That's right. We would already played at 5:30.
And I noticed that Clinton County won by 2, so if you just follow suit with that, you'd be in the finals
That's
tomorrow.
Right. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be talking to you guys tonight. I would be, in Richmond, getting ready to play the All-A State Championship tomorrow.
You've been a part of the All-A for quite a while. You've gone as an assistant coach. You've gone as a head coach. Tell us how different it was this year in the COVID times than what it has been in the past.
Yeah, it was different starting with the regional because of the way the fans were set up. It wasn't the same atmosphere as it usually is on most years. They were only letting 2 teams in the gym at a time to come play. You couldn't really watch other people play. So, that was the beginning of it during the regional. And during the state time, we had weather. And so that made us have to bump things back. We went to a sectional format, so we had to go to Lyon County and play. And then we had to go to Clinton County and play both of our games, which we'd have played both of those teams on a neutral court. So
how did they determine who got to be home?
Well, they said they did it by a coin flip, but I didn't see a coin flip, so I don't know how they determined it. I figured just, in a state tournament, not one team would have 2 home games in a setting where it's supposed to be equal for all teams to be able to play in. So I was hoping that maybe, even though Clinton County got the first game against Owensboro Catholic at home, that we could get a home game the next game. But we went on the road, and we just didn't play well enough to win the game.
Money dictates everything. Do you see this happening now that they've done it this way? Do you see it happening from now on, or do you think when COVID's settled down, do you see it going back to the old way?
Yeah, I don't think that they'll do it this way, because I think they like having everybody at one site, one place, hotel rooms and that sort of thing. It's a really good money maker for the All-A. So I think that next year, if all possible, they'll go back to having everybody at one site. It's pretty cool for us to be able to do it, go to other teams, places, and play. Don't want 2 road games, but it's good to have that going on.
Well, home court advantage, that's something you don't have in the All-A.
No, you don't have it.
And so that's probably pretty tough to play in that situation.
For sure. I'm from Tennessee, and we have sectionals to go to in your Class State tournament. So you have to get through your district play, and then you play a sectional round before the Tennessee teams get a chance to go to Murfreesboro or Lipscomb and play their state tournament.
But that's not determined by an unseen coin flip.
No.
But Coach, going on to the game tonight, you guys have got a tough matchup with Mayfield, who's probably the biggest team in the region in terms of size, because they'll start multiple guys that are bigger than what most people have on their roster, but then they've got 2 or 3 or 4 more of them on the bench. So how do you guys, who are excellent on the offensive end, try to counteract Mayfield's size inside?
Yeah, we have to be physical first of all, you know what I mean? Mayfield's a very physical team, first coming from the football field to the basketball court. So we have to play physical. We have to be able to use our speed to get around those guys and, play good position defense. If we need to make some changes during the game, then we will. But we know they have size and physicality, and so that's going to be one of our talking points in the game in the locker room when I go back in here for the guys and men, is that we need to be physical and don't let them pound us down low.
But, on the offensive side, I talked this to Coach Croft. You guys have been incredibly efficient on the offensive end, and it's not just one player. You got a lot of guys you can rely on to make shots. Talk about how that kind of opens up your offense to kind of be free with what you can do.
Yeah, I wish we shot it better from outside. We're a good outside shooting team, but our percentages haven't been great this year. But Kwani McAllister, Grant Whitaker, Trey Bogus, they do a good job getting in the lane, finishing well around the rim. So that helps us be a very efficient team. But when we can't get into the paint, we have to, depend on some guys to make some outside shots, which, I think we're a really good outside shooting team. We just have to prove that.
And I agree. When I looked at your percentage, I was like, I don't believe that. It's got to be higher than that, because I know they've got not 1 but 2, but really 3, I think, reliable shooters from the perimeter that I wouldn't give an open shot to if they could.
Yeah. We hadn't shot as well as we have last year, and these are the same guys I'm bringing back off of last year's team. Grant Whitaker is a 42% three-point shooter. Gabe Taylor's a 42% three-point shooter, and they're not shooting that clip right now. Trey Boggins is probably the only one that we have that's shooting up in that percentage right now. Everybody else shooting in the 35, 36 range, and I know we're a better shooting team overall. We've been getting better these last couple games, but we just have to continue to work on that and keep making shots.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. We won't keep you a whole lot longer before we let you back into your locker room to get prepped for the game tonight.
No
so
problem.
Thanks for coming on with us. Wish you the best of luck tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
That was Coach Dior Curtis with Murray Tigers. He's going to head down and get with his troops before the game starts. We're going to take ourselves one last commercial break and come back with the post-game show where Ken and I will go through our thoughts on the game tonight before we tip it off. Take one commercial break. Be back after this. You're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. inside the Cardinal Dome. Little pregame show before we start a very excellent Region 1 matchup tonight. At least so we expect, between the Murray Tigers and the Mayfield Cardinals. Alex Heath here with Kent Guthrie on our coverage of some excellent Region 1 matchups.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect tonight. I don't. I just know that it's Mayfield's last game of the season, last game of the regular season. I'm not sure what Murray's schedule is. I don't know.
Same for them.
Same for them?
Yep.
All right. Is the districts the same time?
Yep.
Okay, so
they both got about a week off basically after tonight.
8 days, I think. 8 days.
I think the actual time frame is, I believe, 8 days. But, I mean, it's really, I think, this matchup to me reminds me a lot of the whole Mayfield and Graves matchup, where you've got skilled, quick, athletic guards versus size and athleticism, and which different game style and roster makeup is going to triumph tonight is really what it boils down to.
You know, I agree with that, but I'm going to take it even another level. Another thing that reminds me of the Mayfield Graves, there is hatred. Sure. Between Mayfield and Murray.
Sure.
And it's more in the older guys than it is in the newer guys.
Sure.
And so you kind of got that blood rivalry.
Sure.
Just like Mayfield and Tillman in football.
Sure.
And I would say Mayfield Murray until Graves came about. So you've got that going on.
Well, looks like we may have lost Kent temporarily. We're going to try to get his mic fixed on our end. But we've got about 5 minutes before the tip-off comes in. And I think we're looking for a good matchup again between the size and this guard play. And Kent's point, to Kent's point, he was trying to get to. These two teams see each other in the All-A. These two teams again, they see each other in the All-A tournament, and a lot of times, they, on the boys' side, unless they happen to be in the same half of the bracket, like for example, if they're the 2 and the 3 seed, or they're going to fight each other usually in the championship game of the All-A here in Region 1. And they play each other a lot. They don't like each other. And for some of these guys like Colby Kennemore, who's been involved for a few years now, and you look at Grant Whitaker, Sharquan McAllister, Dejan Miles, some of these guys who have been multiple year role players and now becoming stars for these teams. They know each other pretty well.
I said that I got my mic back, but I still can't hear myself talking. Are you hearing me? No, we got it.
It mic's cutting in and out a little bit. I think I hear you now.
I got it now.
There we go.
I'll just have to sit still the whole game, I guess.
It's being finicky on us. Well, so we got about a little under 4 minutes, Kent. We got a chance to make your point, so go ahead and follow through with it about the two teams really don't like each other.
And that's the way they play. They play hard every time they play each other. They get after each other every time they play each other. Look, I know when my sons played here at Mayfield, we played Murray High in the All-A finals every year.
Yep.
And Murray was clearly outmatched every game, but it didn't stop them from playing hard. It didn't stop them from getting after it, And that's what I expect to see tonight. Mayfield's going to play hard. It's their last game of the season. They're going to get probably, I would say, being Friday night, he might give them a day or two off. Get some rest, so play like there's no tomorrow. And I believe Murray will come out and play that way too, especially losing 2 close games in the last 3. They're going to try to get back on the right page before they hit the district tournament.
Yeah, and the game they won of that 3 was also a close game that went to overtime. So they lost an overtime game, won an overtime game, and then lost a 2-point game. And both those losses, they had leads with less than a minute to go in those games. You kind of talked to Coach Curtis about it, about being able to close out games, especially when you've got a lead at the end. And it's going to be interesting to see which of these two teams has that lead as we come to the end. And Murray has had trouble knocking down shots where they need to at the end. And we know when we've talked to Coach Croft about Mayfield's struggles at the free throw line. So it's something's got to give there. Either Murray's got to be able to knock down some shots to close it out, or Mayfield's got to be able to make enough free throws to close it out tonight.
It's funny, if you listen to us in the pregame with the coaches, you know, both coaches are aware. If they wasn't, I made sure they was aware that Murray's struggling on closing out games.
Right.
And so Coach Croft just wants to play close to Murray. I mean, you want to lead. Don't get me wrong, but you want to make sure that you're going to be able to be in that game at the end of the game because Murray has struggled to close out games. Same thing for Coach Dior. He knows that he hasn't been closing out games, so he's got to make sure he can close out games, get over that hump before district tournaments start. And I'm sure in the back of Coach Dior's mind, he knows that Mayfield struggles to close out games as well because of the free throw shooting. So it's funny getting two different perspectives on that. So
it's a two sides of the same coin situation, and I think because of that, I think both coaches know that even maybe a more comfortable lead late in games may not be safe.
That's right.
In a game like this tonight, and for a couple of reasons that Murray can score points in a hurry from a variety of areas, where Mayfield I think really becomes when Mayfield finds that next gear on the defensive end and they're able to trap and force turnovers and get out and run. I think they're almost unmatched in the region in transition because of, again, their length and athleticism. And we saw it in the Graves County game. When Graves got the early lead and Coach Croft called a timeout and got into him a little bit, they found that extra gear on the defensive end and forced Coach Frick to burn a couple of timeouts to try to calm the troops down. It's like, okay, they're bringing some extra pressure in it. We've got to regroup, get it back in, because we haven't seen this aggressiveness out of Mayfield on the defensive end, at least to this level. So if Coach Croft can get some of that tonight and force some of Murray's guards who are athletic but not as big as Mayfield's size is, I'm looking forward to it, see how that matchup goes. We're going to head to commercial as we go to the national anthem. We'll be right back after this with starting lineups and an excellent matchup here in Region 1. You're watching Region 1 basketball on WK&T Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the Cardinal Dome. They've got the starting lineups in the book for the Murray Tigers. Looks like they're going to have Bogus, Whitaker, Taylor, McAllister, and I cannot catch the last number. I believe that's DeJon Miles, and it is. Again, this Murray offense, I mentioned to both coaches, talked about it in the pregame. They are one of 3 teams in Region 1 shooting better than 50% from the floor. And it's a good number, and I'm 100% on board with Coach Curtis. The fact that they're a better three-point shooting team than their percentage lets on is they had 3 40% three-point shooters last year. All of them are back on the floor this season. Only one of them is above that number right now, so I expect that to change and turn a better way.
They play at a faster pace this year than they played last year. That's going to change you a little bit.
Looks like Mayfield will have the same starting 5 they did a game ago, with Kennemore, Dabney, Stone, Richards, and Brooks. Richards with a tough turnaround floater there at the baseline drive, using his length to get a good shot off.
I believe that's the first game we saw Mayfield start out with not a three-pointer.
That may be true now.
I believe it is. I mean,
it's been a while at least. Been a few games.
They seem to always hit the first three-pointer that they take, and it's usually the first points of the game.
Yep. Because 2 games ago, Kennemore hit one, and then Stone hit one to open the game against Graves. It's been at least 3 games since it's happened, at the very least. Turnovers either way. Bogus is going to take it himself and lay it up and in.
Murray's just playing a man-to-man here. Just taking away the drive, doing a good job defensively.
The matchup inside is going to be interesting. Is Dejon Miles has definitely got the strength advantage on Stone, but Stone's got the height. Whitaker's going to finish that with the left hand. Took the body bump up and in +1, and that's going to be Race Richards' first personal.
Coach Edwards, our principal, Mayfield's principal, swept the floor before the game. And there's 2 people that's fallen down. I don't know if he done something.
They gave him a bad broom is what it was.
Yeah.
Or maybe because he swept it after so maybe the JV game did something. He swept it after the JV game was over.
Yeah.
Grant Whitaker for the free throw line, and he knocks down the free throw. Whitaker averaging just shy of 21 points per game, good for the second highest number in the region. Shooting just under 70% from the stripe.
I assume that's behind Harmon.
That's correct.
What's he at this year?
The last I looked, it was 24. And that was before their games this week.
He's kind of down a little at 24, yeah. Right?
Well, the opening couple weeks of the season before he got hurt, he was averaging 30.
Wow.
There's a triple that is down for Gabe Taylor.
Is he the best three-point shooter in the region?
He'd be on the short list. I'll put it that way.
Him and Kennemore?
Yeah, I'd say they're both on the short list. The best one's probably the Chapman kid from Callaway, to be honest. He hit 5 that night. But I think in terms of percentage, I think actually he is the #1 three-point shooter in the region.
Gabe Taylor?
No, the Chapman kid from Callaway.
Okay.
I think by percentage it's him. Now, I think last year, Taylor did finish in Region 1 as the best percentage. I think he was just shy of 50% from the stripe last year. Because remember, we did the game Murray-Callaway at Callaway County, and at that point, he was over 50% from the three-point line on the season. And that was 3/4 of the way into the year. That wasn't like the first 3 or 4 games.
50% is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
If you attempt many shots.
Right,
1 for 2, whatever.
Yeah. Boggins will pick up his first personal. The first one for Murray. But Murray is off to a hot start here. They lead 10-2 with 2.5 gone by. Dabney will miss the front end. Not the start from the stripe that Coach Croft is going to want. I'm looking forward to this the defensive matchup between the #4s. Sharquan McAllister and Brajan Dabney are both excellent defensive players. It would not surprise me if both of them have very low scoring totals tonight with guarding each other. Brooks got in deep, couldn't get it to go, gets it knocked back to himself and up and in. Bogus is going to draw the foul, and I think he pulled back before the contact was made.
That's going to be his second.
That is his second personal, and the sub's going to come in for him. That's freshman Drew May coming in, and I think both these teams have a similar thing. They've got some experience in that starting rotation, and once you get into the bench at all, it gets really young in a hurry for both these teams.
I'll tell you what, when this group of sophomores was in 6th grade, I had Zane Cartwright, trying to look at the Mayfield team over there, Navi Barnes, DeMarco Gammons, Nolan Fulton, the Pig Kid from Graves County, and Drew May that just checked in from Murray. We had us a little team here at Mayfield played.
I'd say so. McAllister's three is too strong. Rebound for Brooks. And Miles ties up Brooks inside. That's the last person I want to try to get in a ball ripping contest with on the floor. Brooks came in with that drive, tried to do the swing move, and Miles just latched onto the ball. That wasn't going anywhere.
When I coached at Murray High, I coached his brother, Dejavani.
Yep.
And Dejavani was a man-child as well.
Whitaker's going to get the foul drawn on Dabney. He got him up in the air with the head fake. His first personal, third against the Cardinals. Whitaker back to the stripe where he is 1 for 1 here in the opening quarter. No good, too strong on the front end. And Coach Curtis talked about the rebounding, and Whitaker is actually the second leading rebounder on their roster behind Miles. So even at the guard position, he does rebound very well.
And he does a lot of his on the offensive end. He does a very good job of following the basketball.
Kennemore's three-pointer is good. Mayfield quick to get the play down the field after the free throw. Murray lead is down to just 4. Whitaker, nice pass to Miles, but too strong. They're going to get, I think, Miles for the block as he tried again just to snatch the ball out of the driver's hands.
I look for one of those calls to go Murray's way as well, because that was kind of a 50-50 call between a foul and a jump ball. So it would not surprise me in the next possession or so a 50-50 call like that go the other way.
Sure. Murray with a couple of subs set to check in. Short on the front end.
Subbing in for the Tigers, number 0 is Avion Carter. Number 32,
English and Carmen check in. Carmen, a freshman, got to see him play a lot starting on the JV team. I was watching that game earlier, and he's a kid who shows some promise. He's athletic, he's long, handles the ball pretty well for his size. I think he's a player that Coach Curtis is going to look forward to having for the next few years. McAllister scoop, and he's looking at the rim as to why it didn't go home. It spun all the way around and back out. But he's going to get 2 free throws out of it. And that's going to be Colby Kennemore's second personal. So now both teams with a starter already with 2 fouls here in this opening quarter. McAllister's free throw is good.
Yeah, you remember we talked about this in the Graves game at Graves County. Croft's bench in certain positions is not very deep.
Sure.
And so kids play with fouls a lot more on a team like Mayfield than they will.
Like for them to.
Yes. So, I mean,
sure.
You have to take him out right now, clear his head a little bit.
Yep.
I expect to see him right back in the second quarter.
Yeah, I would say start of the second. It would not surprise me at all. And it also may depend on where the score is, too. If Mayfield's down by 1, if it's down by 2, they may hold off a little longer. As Cookie Watkins off the bench drops down a triple, and the Murray lead is cut down to just 2. Murray will have to reset the offense. McAllister's got a quick first step, and that's a tight pass. Whitaker unable to finish it, got his own miss. He's going to be fouled on the rebound. Just what you talked about, Kit. Whitaker battling on the offensive glass, gets a second chance. Brooks will pick up the foul for the Cardinals. That's 5 for Mayfield in the first 5 minutes.
Nice pass
inside, but Whitaker missed a bunny.
My goodness.
Murray's missed, I think, 5 or 6 shots in the paint already.
Another nice pass.
Good look from Brooks in the high post to a cutting Richards for the bucket. And Murray led 10-2, and Mayfield has clawed back here to tie it up at 13. McAllister to the rim, and he can't get it to go either. That's twice. And McAllister has gotten it to get all the way up on the rim multiple times and won't go home.
I haven't seen it bother teams a whole lot this year, but that end of the Mayfield Arena has to be the toughest place to shoot a basketball in the region, with no bleachers behind it, an open court behind it. The depth perception of shooting a basketball, it changes from half to half from when you go to the end that has bleachers.
You see me grinning over here. Obviously, they can't see that at home. I made the exact point to Mayfield's media person, Miss Kim Martin, earlier today, as I remember when I played on this floor, that I hated coming to play here because of one gym was open-ended and one gym had the bleachers behind like everything else did. So it made it, it changing from half to half. You kind of got used to that depth on one side, then you had to change it. And it's a weird thing to have your depth perceptions off with that big open space back there. From anything from mid elbow on up, that open space back there is just an odd thing to see.
Well, did he make that?
No.
Well, at least the gym is a lot better than it was when I came to play in it, because we played on a rubber floor.
Fair enough. It was wood when I played in it.
The rubber floor was fine. It just didn't look as good as the wood floor.
Carmen misses both free throws. Brooks had the rebound, lost it, and Carmen is there to pick it up and put it in. So Murray gets a 3-point trip out of it. And they lead 16-13. Colin Wilson is also checked in for Murray. So just the 2 starting guards still in for the Tigers. And Murray's only starter still in the game. Oh, they have 2 as well. Dabney and Brooks are both still in the game. Both teams trying to go a little bit of bench due to foul trouble, trying to keep some guys fresh. Watkins, another 3-pointer, is off the glass, and it's home.
Whatever works, Alex, whatever works.
It's Friday night in early March. We'll take the bank.
I heard him call it.
So Watkins off the bench has got a pair of threes, and we've tied at 16 again. Nice save by Wilson on the back line. English spins it, has his shot blocked by Fulton.
If Watkins gets a lot of playing time tonight, I look for him to have a heck of a night. After making 2 threes already, he's a kid that started for Mayfield. His playing time's kind of gone down. He's had to take on a different role. And he's come in and had a great start to the game tonight.
Coach Curtis wants time. He calls a quick 30-second timeout. We'll go with him back after this. You're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. gave the wrong 13 then, possibly? We'll figure it out.
Bogus has got 2. Miles has got 1. McAllister got 1.
I don't think he's got 1. He's been fouled twice. And he's got the steal in the corner. Pocket pass inside to Whitaker. And if you're not impressed with Charvel McAllister's vision and passing here in this first quarter, I don't know what basketball you've been watching. Because he's impressed me last year, like his game last year, but he's made some passes already in this first quarter that I'd see some college players struggle to make. Murray's got a 2-point lead with 20 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. That's another tight pass, but I think Fulton blocked the shot.
Fulton blocked.
Watkins' three-pointer is short, and Brooks is going to be fouled on the follow, and that was just, Taylor didn't know it was an air ball. I think he was trying to turn to block him out. He's going to pick up his first.
Brooks needs these free throws. He needs to get some confidence at this line.
He's at 53% on the season, 42 out of 79. And that first one's too strong. Owen Webb's going to check in for the Cardinals, I think, just to give Rajon Dabney as much of a breather as possible. In and out. Into the quarter, they'll let the contact go. A back and forth quarter we go, and Murray leads it by 2, 20-18. We'll take a commercial break. Back with the second quarter. You're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. Welcome back inside the Cardinal Dome. If I'm correct, I think that's our highest scoring quarter we've seen in a while. If not all season, to be honest. 20-18 after one.
Yeah, Mayfield's sitting at 18. Watkins, Mr. Cookie Watkins, has got 8 of the 18.
Yep.
And the 20 for Murray, Mr. Grant Whitaker has 10 of.
Dabney gets a bucket to tie it up to open the quarter, 20-20. McAllister had a good move, but had his shot blocked by Gammons. Watkins on the move and sinks it in. And so far, Kent Guthrie's prediction is coming true.
That's 10 for the Cookie Man.
As Watkins has been an absolute inferno off the bench for the Cardinals. Tough runner.
Wow,
Whitaker.
that was a great shot.
And that's not a senior making that shot either, Kent. He's a sophomore.
That was a great. It looks like he's done that before. Maybe in his 7th grade year when he was starting varsity.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. To be able to kind of stop and get that up that high.
Well, and to change what you're shooting, I mean, you know, the hand goes up with you. You just keep rising in your shot.
Good defensive stand by English forces the turnover. Murray's going to get their starters back in. So Bogus back in despite the 2 fouls. Miles back in as well.
Did they change the foul count? Has there been a foul this quarter?
McAllister's drive, and he is going to be, I think, held by Gammons. It should be the whistle. It is. No, they call it on Watkins. It's his first, but it's the team's 8th for the Cardinals. So Sharquan McAllister is headed to the free throw line for 1 in the bonus. And he will finally get a friendly roll as he's had a couple of roll out on the strong drive to the basket. Murray is a team from the stripe in the mid-60s, 64%. Not a great number, but it's still a fair amount better than Mayfield's number. Dabney will bring it across, give it to Fulton on the wing. Fulton will take the three-pointer, bounces to the far side. Whitaker drives in, kicks to Bogus for an open 3, and he buries it. So apparently the early foul trouble didn't cool off his shooting hand. Murray back in front by 4. Nice hands by McAllister. Throws it ahead to Taylor, spin it up and in. That's going to draw a full timeout from Coach Croft as it's been back and forth. Murray on a little 6-0 run. Take a commercial break back after this. You're watching Region 1 basketball on WK&T Sports. Welcome back inside the Cardinal Dome. Murray leads Mayfield 28-22. Both teams dealing with some foul trouble. Mayfield a little worse. They've got 2 starters with 2, Richards and Kennemore. Murray has 1 with Trey Bogus, but he's back on the floor, but Gabe Taylor has the steal. He's going to be bumped by Brooks. That's going to be D'Angelo Brooks' second personal.
Cardinals foul against number 13, D'Angelo Brooks.
Taylor to the stripe, an excellent free throw shooter. I say that and he misses the front end. That's what happens, right?
Yeah. I've quit talking on free throws. Have you noticed that?
Yes, you have gone. You go about as silent as the rest of the gym does when people shoot free throws.
Mr. Thompson for Graves County's missed 14 free throws all year, and I think 7 of them's my fault.
But at least you're going to take blame for it.
Yeah. Just because I had confidence in him. It's going to be Miles' second.
They're going to bring in Sebastian Lawrence in replace of Miles, and any of you Mayfield football fans should recognize that man.
He's not as an intimidating man in basketball uniform as he is in football.
He's the same size, though.
Yeah, he's just not as intimidating without the shoulder pads and helmet. I'm just telling you.
Where he looks the size of a building when he's on the football field.
Yeah.
He wreaks all kinds of havoc coming off a defensive line for the Murray Tiger football team. Stone takes the deep 2, and it rolls home.
That's his first bucket of the night, Alex. We're used to him scoring 5 or 7 in the first quarter.
I think after the stretch, we were here early in the year, and then we went to doing we did 2 games here. We did 4 games at Graves, then came back here. Before we came back doing the games at Mayfield, I think Stone was averaging about 3 or 4 points per game. And then ever since we've been back, his average has shot up to 8.5 points a game.
Yeah. Yeah, that night out at Graves County when he goes for 12 gives him a lot of confidence. Mm-hmm. He was actually coming off the bench at that time.
Right. Yeah, I think the game after that one was his first start of the season. It's one of those things, we talked about it all season with different teams. If you do well with the playing time you get more playing time.
That's right.
And that's where Sam Stone and Rashawn Dabney both find themselves in the starting lineup for the Cardinals.
Well, a lot of Sam's problem this year wasn't that he wasn't playing well. It was that he got hit with COVID quarantine. The rest of the team kept playing. He was having to sit at home, so they got ahead of him, at that time.
Lawrence is going to draw the personal. That's the 6th on the Tigers, so the next one will put Mayfield in the bonus as well. English and May back in. McAllister getting a breather. Fulton takes the 15-footer and knocks it down. So Mayfield's got a couple of big men. You got to respect their jumper with Fulton and Stone.
Mayfield's only got 1 starter in the game right now. Their bench has come in playing well for the team that's in foul trouble. Richards, Stone, and Kennemore all sitting on the bench with 2.
And Brooks.
You're right.
They've got 4 with 2. Murray has, I believe, 2. I think Miles and Bogus each have 2 for the Tigers. Nice catch by English. Got it up and in off the high glass. Murray is not afraid to throw some tight passes in traffic. But to be honest, they've only got, I think, 3 or 4 turnovers here in this first half. They play well and play pretty well in control.
They have good hands.
Nice job by Watkins getting out of that trap quickly. Gammons, the floater in the lane, goes home. I think I talked to Coach Croft a little bit before we actually had the interview, before you graced us with your presence on your way in. And he talked about Stone in the interview, but I brought up Gammons for the same reason of, younger guys who are big and still trying to learn how to control their size, use the power, use the strength, but not, get out of control with it. And, and Gammons showed on that last possession, use your strength to create space without, bowling through people and getting that offensive foul called against you. I think that's the kind of stuff that he wants to see out of Gammons and Stone, both more of.
He's a guy that's worked his tail off in basketball.
Dabney with a fancy move through the lane and some great English to get it off the glass and in. The Murray lead is back down to 3. 2 minutes to go before the break. And the scoring is slowed down a little bit here in the quarter. It's 20-18 after 1. Bogus gives out. Drew May's 3-pointer's no good. English has the rebound knocked away to Whitaker. Pulls up for the 15-footer too strong. Drew May offensive rebound. Gabe Taylor's 3 is no good. And Dabney snatches the rebound. Mayfield with a chance to cut it to 1 or tie it.
They're clearing out for Dabney right here. Drew May's having trouble guarding him.
Can't quite get the shot to go home, but he'll draw the foul and get a pair from the charity stripe. And Dabney may be looking for a breather. He has given everything for the Cardinals here in this first half.
You can't take him out. He's just going to have to take his time at the free throw line, knock him down.
With the foul trouble they've got, he doesn't really have a choice with 1:20 left.
And he's playing well. He's got to stay in. 1:20. He's got to stay in. He'll get his breather at halftime.
McAllister and Carvin back in for the Tigers. And I think Coach Curtis wants to make sure Boggins doesn't pick up a third with 1:20 to go. Free throw good for Dabney. The lead for the Cardinals, for the Tigers is down to 2, 33-31. McAllister, tough fadeaway short. Watkins lost it out of bounds is what the officials' call is.
He tried to sell it. He tried to sell that it got knocked out of his hands. That's all right. That's just a little bit of adrenaline pumping right there.
McAllister happy to let the dribble pound and hold for the last shot if Watkins is going to let him dribble.
Do you blame him?
Nope.
No.
McAllister's got a really quick first step. There's a few people that are going to have a hard time holding on to that. And Dabney knocks that away, but it actually knocks it off the hand of Whitaker out of bounds.
This is as fired up as I've ever seen Dabney. He's usually calm and collect.
But he's excited in a good way for the Cardinals. Dabney gets it back. They got 14 seconds left on the clock. Tried to go into Gammons, and they're going to get English with the foul from behind, trying to deflect the pass. It's going to be a 1-and-1 for DeMarco Gammons. That's English's first 8 for the Tigers. No good, too strong. Rebound is controlled by Braden Morris. Tried to get it into Gammons and does, and it'll go home to end the half. Coach Croft out to meet his team. He's going to love the energy the Cardinals have brought. And despite their foul trouble, with 4 of their 5 starters with 2 each, the Cardinals have held on. They have tied it up at the end of the half, 33 apiece. We'll take the commercial break, be back with the halftime show. You're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. Welcome to the halftime show here on WK&T Sports. We expected a great matchup, and it has been every bit of that here in the first half as we have a tie game at 33 apiece. Starting with the visiting Tigers of Murray. Carmen has a field goal for 2 points, 0 for 2 at the line. Miles picked up 2 early fouls, didn't get as much playing time in the first half. Bogus also with 2 fouls for Murray, but did finish with 5 points, a 3, and 2 out of 2 at the free throw line. Sharkwan McAllister, field goal, and 4 out of 6 at the free throw line for 6 points. Grant Whitaker, the hot hand, no surprise there for the Tigers. He's got 5 field goals and 2 for 2 at the free throw line for 12 points in the first half. Gabe Taylor, a 3 of 2, 1 out of 2 at the free throw line for 6. And Lincoln English has a field goal for 2. Murray 20 in the first quarter, 13 more in the second quarter. Cool off a little bit. The pace slowed down a little bit in that second quarter as well for both teams. But 9 out of 14 at the free throw line. A decent number, but not great, not terrible for the Murray Tigers. For Mayfield, Kobe Kennemore had a 3 in that first quarter, picked up 2 fouls, and didn't see action, I don't think, the rest of the first half. Rajon Dabney has had a great defensive first half, and as expected, had 5 big points all in that second quarter. 2 field goals, 1 for 4 at the free throw line, unfortunately, though, for Dabney. It really helped kind of carry that offense once Mayfield got into some bad foul trouble. Fulton has a field goal for 2. Brooks has a field goal for 2, but 0 for 3 from the free throw line as well, and did not score in the second quarter. Did pick up his second personal in the earlier parts of that second quarter. Thankfully, the main reason why Mayfield is still in this game is, despite the foul trouble, is Nathan Watkins off the bench has got 2 threes and 2 twos for 10 total points off the bench, playing great, getting some extra playing time despite the foul trouble. Race Richards has got 2 field goals and 1 out of 2 at the free throw line for 5. DeMarco Gammons has got 2 field goals for 4, and Sam Stone a field goal for 2. So Mayfield spreading the scoring around, but again, the same thing that has plagued the Cardinals game after game happens again in this first half. It's 2 for 9 at the free throw line for the Cardinals in the opening half. And I mean, 4 out of 9, 5 out of 9 would be one thing, but 2 out of 9 at the free throw line in the first half for the Cardinals. Kent, I struggle from the free throw line is one thing, but 2 out of 9 is a bit. Woo. Okay.
Hey, but Mayfield is setting good right now at 2 out of 9. I'm okay. It's tie ball game.
That is a great way to look at it.
It's tie ball game. Yeah. Now, you can't go 2 out of 9 the second half.
No.
2 out of 9 didn't hurt you in the first half. You can't go 2 out of 9 in the second half.
Right. I think Murray missed about 5 or 6 shots in the paint that they won't miss in the second half. I'd bet money on it. As a good pass from the high post gets a bucket for Sam Stone.
That's going to be there all night. They have nobody that can guard Sam Stone.
Just for the height difference. McAllister, a tough 2 in and out. And poor McAllister has had the wrong side of the rolls off the rim tonight. It's about the 4th shot he's taken that he's rolled on the rim and come off.
Part of that's adjusting to the 2 different end zones that we talked about.
Mayfield with just their second lead of the ball game. Richards left it short, got his own miss, couldn't get it to go, and Whitaker rips it free. Bogus baseline drive, shot blocked, but a foul.
That's got to be body because the block looked clean.
That's going to be on Sam Stone. That's going to be his 3rd. We knew it was going to be the 3rd for somebody for Mayfield, as 4 of the 5 players on the floor for the Cardinals do have 2. And Bogus drills the opening free throw, and Gammons is going to check in for Stone.
Gammons come in and played well for Stone tonight.
Yep. Bogus, a rare miss at the free throw line, but he got his own.
I'm anxious to see which team's going to be able to come in and close out tonight.
This is true. Bogus got his own miss, and he's going to head right back to the free throw line again, as Gammons is going to be called for his first personal. And usually I will tell you that Mayfield dominates the offensive glass, but Murray has given them a battle for it on the offensive glass tonight. Bogus has missed his last 2 free throws, and he's an 80% free throw shooter. Drills the second one. Murray extending some full court pressure. But they might try to trap out of it. They back out and reset into the man-to-man. Actually, no, they've settled down into a little bit of a zone, it looks like. The flyby from Whitaker kind of messed Brooks' up shot, and Kennemore's shot is short, and they've got a whistle for a foul. It's going to be Dejon Miles' third foul. To be honest, I thought the foul was called away from the ball on the rebound.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody around.
I didn't see anybody within 3 feet of Kennemore when he put the shot up.
What's Kennemore shoot from the line?
I want to think he's just shy of 70%, but I will double check myself. How about 70.5%? I was close.
I haven't seen him miss many in the games that we've covered.
He
doesn't get there a lot because he shoots the ball outside so often.
He has been shooting it a lot better in the second half of the year. In the first half of the year, he was down under 60%, and he has gotten a lot better the second half of the season. But yeah, he is right at 70%. I knew I was close. English is going to get a shot up, but he's going to get fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. That's Gammon, so pick up his second.
We was talking about three-point percentages a while ago. I'm going to give you a crazy stat.
Here we go.
And it does, and you know I don't like talking about my kids. Their time has come and gone. But I want to give you this stat.
Sure.
Connor shot 44% from the three-point line for his career.
That's a high number.
He attempted 630 threes.
That's a lot of threes.
And hit 310.
Good step through on the drive for Dabney. And Whitaker through multiple contacts looking for a whistle, didn't get it as he threw up a head fake and had 3 different Cardinals run by him. Kennemore to the rim, shot too strong. Gammon's gathered it, his shot is too strong. It's up to Whitaker. He's going to try to outrun or get by Richards. And Richards going to be called, I think, for the trip.
That's going to be his third.
It is Richards' third, and that's going to bring the hot hand off the bench back in for the Cardinals and Nathan Watkins. Whitaker's shot somehow got that up and over Dabney and in. If you're Brajon Dabney, you can't play defense any better than that. Bogus just right in front to anticipate that. It's going to go up with a two-handed flush and bring it home.
I wondered if he could get up there.
Yes, he can. He is deceptively athletic. And good defense to force that miss. Murray back in front. Mayfield with their longest time leading of the night. McAllister got to the rim, but too strong. Kennemore looking to push the other way. Takes it himself, no good. Whitaker's going to slow it down. Get a little bit of frenetic pace here in this first part of the third quarter. No shot as Whitaker is fouled on the reach in. And Kennemore's going to pick up his third personal.
And so we get the Cardinals, number 12,
So Richards has got 3. Stone has 3. And now Kennemore with 3 for Mayfield.
Coach Cross got a lot of confidence going to his bench the way they played in this last of the first half.
That's a tough shot made by McAllister. McAllister's not going to give Dabney any breather, and then finally takes it away. And I'm trying to see what the signal was from the official.
Timeout, Mayfield.
And they're going to grant the timeout to the Cardinals, and Coach Curtis is going to have a conference with the official about why the timeout was granted. We will take the commercial break with them. Back after this, you're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports.
Of the state. Yeah. It's not,
halfway through the third quarter, Murray leading by 3, 42-39. Mayfield still dealing with some foul trouble. They got 3 players with 3 personals. Murray has 1. Gammons with a spin move, can't get it to go, but a foul from the top. That's on 32. That's Lincoln English, his second personal. I saw the 3 come up with one hand, but I couldn't see what his second hand was. Gammons from the stripe. Yes.
Wow, that thing touched every part of the rim.
I thought it was going to spin off. I was like, no. Okay, wait a minute. It ended up going home. Second one for Gammons. Looks good and is. That's not the person you would expect to make 2 out of 2 at the stripe. McAllister tried to spin it home on the reverse. He's going to be fouled. They're going to get Watkins. I thought that was going to be on Dabney, to be honest. But Watkins will draw his second personal, and McAllister back to the line. I think a lot of Murray's trips to the free throw line has been Murray's initial guy is just beating his man off the dribble, and somebody's trying to come from help. Either the help rotation is too late, or they can't draw that charge, or force a pass. So I think Mayfield's got to get better with their rotation and communication on the defensive end to prevent all these trips to the line for Murray.
Well, Murray's doing the same thing. They're bringing pressure up around half court. You're going to get beat off the dribble when you do that. The bottom line has got to slide over and cut it off instead of stand there and olay them as they go by.
Mayfield needs that man to find some offense as well. I think Brooks just has the 2 points on the night. Taylor will pick up his second personal, third for the Tigers. Brooks is back to the stripe where I believe he is 0 for 3 on the night. And that one is in and out. That one rolls out as well.
He's 0 for 5.
Good look ahead. McAllister finds English, but in and out. Gets a second attempt. The head fake, the shot is blocked by Brooks, and Watkins chases down the rebound. Both teams are having their fair share of struggles tonight, and Dabney is going to be fouled.
I'm interested to see if they give him a shot. They did. They gave him a shot on that.
They get Sharquan McAllister for his first personal, and they're going to give Dabney a pair of free throws out of it. First one is good. Dabney at 75%, second best free throw shooter on the roster for the Cardinals. Can't get the second one, almost got his own miss. Murray has a 2-point lead here, 44-42. Whitaker all the way to the rim again. Help side defense not there for the Cardinals on that drive. Watkins slips down trying to recover the ball. I can't see who the last person to touch it. The officials, I think, looking for some help from the baseline side. It's going to go Murray's way. So he got down in that far corner. I couldn't see who was last off of it. I think the initial official was looking for some help from the baseline judge because he couldn't tell either. And then 2 Tigers and 2 Cardinals all over that loose ball. McAllister tried to shuffle that to Carmen. And they're going to say Mayfield ball, and then the side
how in the world can he run in from up here and make the call?
I don't know. But they got the call right, but the guy that was there to make the call was the guy on the baseline. Because the McAllister's pass was definitely knocked out of bounds. But the referee on the side shouldn't have been the one that had the angle at it.
Cross court, half court
Yeah.
is the ref that ran in.
Yeah, the guy that made the call did not have the angle on it. And I believe Brajan Dabney's going to go back to the free throw line for a pair, and he's not at 100%. Ken, he's got a little bit of a limp on that left leg. McAllister picks up his second, and he's going to plead his case with the referee. Dabney's free throw is good.
Well, unless they carry Dabney off the court, he's just going to have to play through some stuff tonight. Welcome to big boy varsity basketball, Mr. Freshman.
In a region matchup, people don't like each other all that much.
He's playing so well, you just can't take him out.
Right.
That's a nice pass.
Carmen didn't see it.
No, that was a nice look right there.
Rare turnover for the Tigers. Mayfield's got a chance to tie it again or maybe take the lead. Fulton found Gaiman's on the cut, but Carmen comes over and blocks it from the weak side. Whitaker pulls up, takes the three uncontested, and knocks it down. And that's going to draw a flabbergasted sigh from Coach Croft. He's thinking, how do we let that man get a wide open shot?
Yeah, there wasn't anybody within 20 feet of him.
And I think Grant Whitaker was surprised as well. He's like, all right, I'll shoot it. Bog is frustrated, hands the ball to the official. He's going to pick up his third personal. Wilson will check in for him. So now Murray has got 2 people with 3. Mayfield's got 3 with 3. We've got 1:09 to go here in the quarter. Both teams are just 1 foul away from the bonus. I think Coach Croft wants to try to take D'Lo Brooks with a one-on-one matchup. Brooks got the step, couldn't get the shot to go. Gammons, the offensive rebound, left it short. Brooks got the miss as well, and he got it up and in. Mayfield on the offensive glass using their size. Murray leads back down to 3. And they're going to get Whitaker for a carry.
That's just, I wish they'd throw that call completely out of bounds. It's called so inconsistently.
That's the right word for it.
I mean, just throw it completely out of the game.
Unless it's just, really blatant, where they get it up over their head or something. or like they hang it on their hip kind of thing. But like if it's just that little quick shuffle, like I've seen carries a lot worse than that not called all across the region all season long.
Hey, as a Mayfield guy, I like the call.
Sure.
As a basketball fan, I hate the call.
You have
you
to.
know, I mean,
have
it's
to
just
hate the call.
yeah.
Because nothing he did created him any extra offensive advantage. And I think that's, to me, that's where that call's got to come from.
I mean,
McAllister to Carmen, the reverse is good.
That's a great pass. But McAllister just paused with the ball in the air.
Right.
They didn't call it.
No.
You know, so, and the pause really did create him an extra move.
Right.
You know, so I hate the call. I hate it.
Murray holds on with the 5-point lead as we head into the fourth quarter. Take a commercial break. Back after this, you're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter. Again, I said we'd have a good one tonight, and it has been every bit of that. I think the largest, Murray led 10-2 to start the game. I don't think either team has led by more than 5 since then, to be honest.
Man, you look at the way that these guys are playing. They're playing like it's. I was going to say, I thought he made that. They're playing like it's district tournament time already. I mean, like there's no tomorrow, you know, and they're getting after it. It's fun. It's a fun game to watch.
And it's one of these things that both coaches have, may have some concerns about that 8 days off before their district tournament start, but they might need it after tonight.
Well, the 8 days is going to allow you to take a day off to rest or 2 days off to rest.
Yeah, my guess is with the way they've gone tonight, it's going to be 2.
And then come in and just start hitting it hard for the next 5.
Gabe Taylor, a wide open 3, in and out.
There's that offensive rebound by Whitaker that we've been talking about.
Mayfield tried to rip it free, and they did, but nobody could gather it for one out of bounds. It'll stick with the Tigers under their own basket.
My goodness.
Try to get Whitaker on the post up. Found Carvin on the roll. Nice look out of the double team. Hurry back in front by 7. So both teams with 16 fouls, so we're shooting free throws the rest of the way through no matter what. Dabney got away with a travel. He changed his pivot foot on the stop. Kenmore wrap around past the Stone. It got deflected. And I think jump ball was the signal, I believe. It's going to be Murray's ball. I think Coach Curtis was trying to get the timeout, but they didn't give it to him. But he's got the ball either way with the jump ball alternating possession. Now I'd be curious to see if Murray tries to push the envelope to try to open their lead up, or if they're going to try to slow it down with the lead.
No, Murray will not slow it down. I can answer that for you right now.
I mean, it was a metaphorical question.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They're going to try to blow the doors off this thing.
Carmen can't get it, but he'll follow up his own miss and put it in.
He hadn't been closing out games of late. He's gonna.
You want the biggest cushion as you can get.
He's gonna blow the doors off if he can. You know, and I don't blame him.
Brooks tries to get the shot to go over Bogus. Good contest without committing the foul. Whitaker's looking to push. And I don't know how he got that shot up and around and got it in. That's a tough shot made in transition. And Murray leads by 11, their largest lead of the night. We'll take the commercial break. Back after this. You're watching Region 1 basketball on WK&T Sports. 5.5 minutes to go in the contest. Murray, with a little run, has opened up their largest lead of the night at 11 points, 57-46. Mayfield's got their starting five on the floor. Stone tried to save it, and I think that actually went off of Taylor's leg. It did. Stone saved it to Kennemore, and I think Kennemore was able to kind of just swat it down off of Taylor's leg out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, Mayfield, Region 1 doesn't get enough credit for the actors that we have in this region. I mean, there's nobody that ever claims a basketball went out on them.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I wasn't even wearing the same zip code as that basketball. It didn't touch me. It didn't touch me. You're right. You're right.
Got movie stars
That's
out here
right.
playing basketball.
Everybody wants their own Oscar. Little golden man in their house. See if Murray is able to close it out or if they have the same struggles again. That was another tough pass, but good hands by Brooks to knock that out. Bogus tried to make the inside cut, and Whitaker found him. A nice inbounds play for the Tigers. And I don't know if you noticed this, kid. Grant Whitaker's work ethic comes from a place of reason. If you look over there on the side, his mom is the official scorekeeper for the Tigers team, and his dad's over there taking pictures for the team. So his parents are over there working while the game's going on still.
And they coach a 4th grade team, and Grant's their youngest child.
Yeah.
You didn't know that either.
I didn't know that, see? Richards is going to pick up his 4th fouls. He couldn't get stopped, and he ran into Bogus.
Fouls against Cardinals, number 23, Bryce Richards.
Bogus back to the free throw line, an 80% shooter, but he has struggled tonight. Gets that one to go home. Or struggled compared to his normal average, I should say.
He's only missed 2.
What, 3 out of 5?
5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. Okay, well he hit that
If
one.
you call that struggling.
Well, 6 out of 8. Now he's still below his season average at 6 out of 8. And he's made his last, I think, 3 of his last 4. So it's. Dabney shoved it to Brooks, but Carmen up top with the block.
You can't count on one hand how many blocks there's been tonight.
No, you can't. You may not be able to count on 2 hands.
And I don't know that one was a foul. There was no body whatsoever.
Unless he got, like part of the forearm with his forearm on part of that. The ball part up top looked good from our angle. But a lot of times I feel like officials, like if you swat really hard at a ball and you get close to some player, that like they just by swatting hard, you get called for that foul.
Yeah.
Whether you actually get all the ball or not, just for the sheer force you have tried to apply to the play. The long rebound is tipped out to McAllister, and Murray's got an extra possession, and he gets to the rim and lays it in. Murray has opened up a run. Kennemore back the other way, gets a quick bucket. Murray leads it by 16. Carmen looked to push it ahead and lay it up and in. Dabney all the way to the rim will draw the blocking foul on Carmen. His first and the 7th. It's a 2-shot foul. Dabney back to the free throw line. In and out. Gammons is going to check back in for Stone. Dabney missed both. And I think that's a function of him just being exhausted, to be honest, Kent.
Yeah. Yeah, they
August ducked inside, tried to get his own miss. They're going to get a tie-up. Bogus mad at himself for missing the shot.
I wasn't going to say anything earlier, but Mayfield was actually seven of 10 in the third quarter from the free throw line.
Well, that get them back up to their season average or close to it. The pass too wide intended for Watkins. I thought Whitaker maybe tipped it out of bounds. But the official said he didn't even get to it to knock it out of bounds. And the great thing for Coach Curtis, probably the best thing about it, if you look at this starting five, or actually let's look at the 5 players on the floor. You know how many seniors are on the floor for Murray right now? 1.
Is that Taylor?
Taylor is the lone senior on the floor for the Tigers right now. Carmen with the ball is a freshman. McAllister's a junior. Bogus is a junior. Whitaker's a sophomore. This Murray core is back for one more run at it at the very least. McAllister got it a little too deep, got lost, but Whitaker on the offensive rebound yet again, Ken.
Did you watch him that possession? Did you watch Whitaker?
He's moving constantly.
He ran the round in circles the whole time.
Yeah. You know, it makes me think, I think of like Ray Allen. You know, just always running off a screen, backdoor cut here, move off of there, you know, off the screen here, just constantly moving.
Did he make that one?
No, he did not. Fulton in for the Cardinals, as is Watkins. Wilson back in for Murray. It's the second one to go. Strong drive for Dabney. He got it to go. Mayfield trying to extend some pressure to get a turnover, try to get back in this game. McAllister with a wraparound pass to Carmen, who laid it up and in. Coach Curtis has called a 30-second timeout. Take the quick commercial break. Back after this, you're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. Welcome back inside the Cardinal Dome with 1:45 to go. Mayfield hopes are thin as they trail by 19. Dabney puts up a shot too strong. Whitaker has the rebound. And I think Murray might actually slow it down now.
Yeah, now's the time to do it.
Up 15 plus with a minute and change to go. They're going to run through their offense. I don't think Coach Croft is going to elect the foul either.
And listen, this is a 19-point game right now. It has not been your average 20-point game.
But this was a 5-point game until about 4 minutes ago. And Murray has gone on a run to open this up here at the end, where Mayfield has gone ice cold in this fourth quarter. Watkins has the offensive rebound. Murray has the steal. McAllister too strong. But one thing we did talk about with Coach Croft, like some of these young guys are making it kind of hard for him to know who needs to play. You should look at some of these guys like, Dabney's a starter as a freshman. Fulton, I believe, also a sophomore. Yeah, Fulton a sophomore. Watkins a junior. Morris a sophomore. We saw Morris and Fulton both have excellent games in the JV.
Sam Stone and DeMarco Gammons are both.
Yeah, Stone a junior, DeMarco Gammon's a sophomore. So the sophomore class, as you kind of talked about it earlier, having coached a lot of those guys, is they are thick in that sophomore class.
Got a kid checking in here as an 8th grader for Mayfield.
AJ Keith.
There's a couple more sophomores sitting over on the bench, about 3 or 4.
Cartwright, Jackson are both over there as well, along with Barnes. Three-pointer up and good. I don't even have number 14 on my roster, to be honest.
What did they say his name was?
I honestly didn't catch it. I will have to find it.
I thought did they say Kobe Watson?
I'm gonna see if I can locate it real quick. I want to give the credit if I can find it. If I can find it fast enough. But we'll go to commercial break. Murray holds on 74 to 50. Right back after this with the post-game show. You're watching Region 1 basketball here on WK&T Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the post-game show here on WK&T Sports. You see our final score, and you didn't see all the game. You would think we had a one-sided affair. What it really boiled down to is it was a one-sided fourth quarter, as it was a 2-point lead for Murray after one, a tie ball game after two, a 5-point lead for Murray after three. But when it comes down to Kent closing out games, Murray did it by playing about a near perfect fourth quarter, and Mayfield could not find the bucket in the fourth quarter. They managed just 4 total points in the fourth quarter to Murray's 23.
And what did Murray have in the fourth quarter? Did they make 2 3-pointers? One was Grant, a fast break. One was the 8th grade kid at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so they done it by attacking the basket, offensive rebounds, and passing the basketball, taking care of the basketball.
Yep. Getting the shots they wanted.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what it came down to. For the visiting Murray Tigers, Xavion Carmen played excellent off the bench. Did a good job of really being in the right place at the right time. A lot of good passes found his way. He finished with 12 points on 6 field goals. And he played a lot in that second half, I think, because of how well he played in the first half. And Miles got in some foul trouble, so he saw a lot of playing time and took advantage of it. Trey Bogus finished with 2 twos, and 6 out of 8 at the free throw line for 13 points. Jarquan McAllister made more excellent passes tonight than I've seen probably by point guards in the rest of the season, to be honest. He had an excellent night and also finished with 14 points on 4 field goals, 6 out of 8 from the free throw line. Brett Whitaker, another excellent night. 1 3-pointer, 8 field goals, and 4 out of 6 from the free throw line for 23 points. Gabe Taylor had all 6 of his in the first half, a 3, a 2, 1 out of 2 from the stripe. Lincoln English finished with 3, a 2, 1 out of 2 from the stripe. And then Mr. Watson came in, the 8th grader, at the very end of the game and dropped a 3 for the Murray Tigers. We didn't get his name because he was not on the roster because he's an 8th grader.
That's right. That's right.
So we had to get some help from some of the Murray fans to know who he was and want to give him credit for his bucket made. But at the end of the day, Murray finished 18 out of 28 from the free throw line. 74 points. For the hometown Cardinals, Colby Kennemore had some early foul trouble and really couldn't get the offense going once he got back in the game. Finished with just 7 points, a 3, a 2, and 2 out of 2 at the free throw line. Bergeron Dabney, he's going to need about 6 days of rest as hard as he played tonight. He was the only one of the Mayfield starting 5 that didn't get into foul trouble, and because of that, he had to stay on the floor despite being absolutely exhausted in that first half. I don't think he ever got his full energy back and underneath him. Missed a few free throws late where he just had nothing left. But he still finished with 12 points on the 4 field goals, but 4 out of 10 at the free throw line. Noah Fulton had a field goal for 2. D'Angelo Brooks, a tough offensive night for him as well. 2 field goals and 0 of 5 at the free throw line. Nathan Watkins had a great surge for the Cardinals in the opening half, had all 10 of his points coming off the bench in the first half, 2 threes and 2 twos. Race Richards in foul trouble a lot tonight. Finished with just 5 points, 2 field goals, and 1 out of 2 at the free throw line, again, all in the first half. DeMarco Gammons, 2 field goals and 2 out of 2 at the free throw line for 6 points. And Sam Stone had 2 field goals for 4. But again, the total that matters, 9 out of 21 at the free throw line for the Mayfield Cardinals. You know, Murray made 9 more free throws than the Cardinals did, and they only had 7 more attempts than the Cardinals did. And again, that fourth quarter, Murray outscores Mayfield 23-4.
You know, you look at that in the second half, Mayfield 9 out of 21, and they shot 50% from the line. They was 7 out of 14 in the second half. They was 2 for 7 in the first half.
2 for 9.
2 for 9 in the first half. 2 for 9 in the first half.
Yeah.
So that's even better percentage for them. 9 minus 21 is 12. They was 7 of 12.
Yeah. In the second half.
In the second half.
Which would be not bad.
I told you the 2 out of 9 didn't hurt them at that point.
Right.
Second half was a new ball game.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're right. Closing out games. Hey, it's our last show. We got to go ahead and say it. Yeah, you know, take care of the basketball. Shoot free throws.
Yep.
Make free throws.
Yep.
Mayfield checked all the boxes. They did. But Murray got out and done what Murray does. They got balls off the rim and they took off down the floor.
Yep.
And they was attacking the basket. They was getting second chance buckets. They was making great passes, good looks. I mean, Carmen has 12 in the game. 10 of those in the second half?
Yep.
And every one of them come off of a pass.
Yep, every single one of them.
So, and it was a pass where he was cutting to the basket. He didn't post up with his back to the basket and they feed him the basketball.
Moving without the basketball.
So, Murray's a tough team.
Yep.
They're a tough team. But I'll stand by what I said. Whoever's hot at regional tournament has a chance to win the regional tournament.
I agree. I think you could take at least 2 teams out of every district. You could take all 3 out of District 4 for that matter, as they've proven it. And I talked to Coach Curtis about it, and the funny thing is, he and I were sitting in the bleachers before the game ever started, before he even came on the show with us earlier, and the way District 4 is currently sitting is big. Murray fell to Marshall County by 2, has lost to Marshall both times they played him, but they beat Callaway both times they played Callaway. Marshall beat Callaway the first time they played each other, and they played each other for the last time, I think, Monday night, I think is what Coach Curtis told me. And if Callaway is able to beat Marshall, they will have beaten Marshall both times they play them. They have a 3-way tie for the title regular season for who gets that number 1 seed. And then it comes down to points against and points scored for the season. And so he said my AD knows the point differentials, and one of my assistant coaches know the point differentials, and they're not telling me. And he said once they said the word, I was like, I'm kind of glad I don't know, because he's going to watch that game, and I don't want to be upset just because of a point differential doesn't go our way kind of thing. But I mean, obviously, it's kind of an odd thing for a coach to say. But
I'm going to say, that 4th district, that 1 seed is the most important 1 seed
by far
in the region.
By far.
Because that's 3 of the top 5 teams in the region. And look, Ballard's down.
Sure.
CCA down.
Sure. St. Mary down.
Yeah, but St. Mary's one of them dogfight teams. But
yeah.
But there is a tier 1, tier 2.
Sure.
In region or in District 2.
Sure.
Tillman and McCracken sit at the top.
Yep. Then St. Mary.
Sure. And that 4th district, come on. I mean, and I'm not saying tiers for the region. I'm saying tiers for the district.
Yeah.
You're tier 1, tier 1, tier 1.
It's tier 1A, tier 1B, and tier 1C.
Yeah. So Murray, who played well tonight, may not even make it out of their district tournament.
Well, that's what happened last year.
They may play 1 more game and be done for the season.
Murray finished with the third best regional record last year, and didn't even make the regional tournament a season ago. And they were by far the best offensive team in the region last year in terms of consistency from every part of the field, from 2, from 3, and from the free throw line. And they caught their worst shooting night of the season in the district semifinals against Callaway County and got beat.
Yeah.
It was by far their worst shooting night of the entire season. Just happened to come at the wrong time.
Let's swap it over to Mayfield real quick before we get off here.
Absolutely.
I've got to walk away from this game feeling happy as a staff because of those first 3 quarters.
Sure.
Mayfield done some things tonight that they haven't done all season long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that confidence was there from the coaching staff with those reserves at that many positions at once. And those guys come in tonight, and that confidence grew in those guys because when they were in the game, things happened.
Sure.
And when Mayfield went on their runs, it was those guys.
Yeah, it was Dabney and a lot of the second-string guys, the guys coming off the bench tonight at least, that really helped keep them in the game despite all the foul trouble that Mayfield had.
So I don't want to say confidence because I know that as a coaching staff, they've known what these kids could do. And tonight they got an opportunity and they got a chance to prove themselves. stinks that it was the last game of the season, but hey, that makes you tougher when you go into district tournament.
Yep.
If you can play 10 deep, you're tougher when you go into district tournament.
Yep.
And so I think that there were some positives that come out of this game tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, Mayfield battled.
Yeah.
They battled.
And not just even for, looking big picture, not just even for district tournament, regional tournament this year, but for the upcoming season, for this, this next season.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Coach Croft and his team aren't thinking about next season.
That's
yet,
right.
But people in our position, we can look at that kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the line.
No, we don't. But maybe our pride on who we picked to win the game. That's about it.
Right.
But we talked about both these teams. Especially Mayfield has got so much of their depth is young.
Yeah.
A whole lot of sophomores, like 40% of their roster is sophomores. So seeing them come in and make key plays, bring that energy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've already got energy and you can play hard and do the things your coach wants as a freshman and a sophomore, you can really come in and develop the skill set and try to get better as a ball handler, better as a shooter, better understanding defensive scheming in your junior and senior year, and really be your best self as a player and the best part of your team.
Owen Webb come in with 1.8 seconds to go. Morris come in and played for, who did he sub in for? Somebody else in foul trouble. Maybe it was Kennemore?
Yeah, I think Kennemore.
Okay. Morris was the only kid on the team that played significant minutes that didn't score.
Right.
Every sub that come in, and I'm not counting Webb because he was just in there for 1.8 seconds.
Right.
But every sub that come in, barring the end of the game and a 20-point spread, scored for Mayfield.
Right.
Positive, man.
Yeah.
That's positive.
There's not a lot of teams that can do that.
No.
And you're right. And having a lot of depth is never going to be a bad thing, whether it's current, future, whatever.
That one thing that does is you can turn up your intensity and aggressiveness on defense.
Yeah.
Because you do have people that come in.
Absolutely.
A lot of football teams don't let their quarterback run.
No.
Because they can't afford to lose him.
Right.
But a football team that has two quarterbacks, now you've got a runner.
Yeah, you got options.
You got options. That's why you see it more in college and stuff. So that's kind of the same thing in basketball here. You can afford to play more aggressive with your starting five if you've got some guys coming off the bench that can fill roles and take care of the job.
That's going to do it for us for our broadcast tonight. Murray wins at 74-50 behind a 23-4 fourth quarter. They really put it away there at the very end. I want to thank all of our sponsors for making our broadcast happen this season. Thanks to our camera operator, Mr. Ethan up there, for doing a great job tonight in his first role with us. Andy Dude directing for us all season long, both basketball and football season. And despite what everybody tells me, and it has been an absolute pleasure to have Kent Guthrie on.
Despite what everyone tells you, are you still catching flack over?
Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we had somebody giving us flack as they were leaving the gym tonight about it.
Well, maybe they just hadn't listened to us.
That's probably maybe. But Ken, I do appreciate you taking your time out to be here with me this season. It's been great, and maybe we can do it again next year.
I hope so. Yeah,
thanks everybody so much for watching for us here. Basketball season has come to a close for us here on WK&T Sports. We always thank the viewership here on our network. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We will see you all next season.